Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
And with that, Eva, take it away, and I'll see if I can get my charts up, and then I will be back.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
For the crypto traders out there, we just had an alert on Ethereum, and it's for buy on the 5-minute. I always use the 5-minute for crypto. And as you can see, there's it's pretty much equal as far as the strength goes, whether it's a sell or a buy. And there's lots of room to the upside as well. And this is an actual bag entry or bag trade as well. So we've got, let's call it $28 to the top. So I think I'm going to take this. I'm comfortable with it because it is pretty strong going up as well as down, but we have lots of room to move. So I'm going to do just a low 0.01. I'm going to take that guy. Now, as far as for crypto, figuring out where to put the, let me just get rid of this, where to put this, the take profit and the stop loss. I don't have a set $10 or $15 or whatever. I just kind of look at the movement of the candles and kind of take it from there. So I'm going to just modify this order. I'm going to put a stop loss. I want it to be down around here. So I'm just going to put in 2037 for now. I'll adjust it once it's up. It's just to get it in there. And I'm going to put a 2077 right now as a take profit. Okay, so actually that worked out perfect because my stop loss is right where the zone is. So it's got to get through this and down to the zone. I'm going to move it a little bit lower, just to below that candle there. That's my stop. And my take profit, I think I'm going to just move it right to there. And it's just, I'm just looking basically at this. That's when it started to move strong downward. And I just like that. It's basically the next zone up from where I got in anyway. So let's just measure that out just for, okay, so that's like a $14 move from where I got in. Well, the price is doing its thing as per usual because of the spread, but that's okay. It's Monday morning. I'm on demo, so it's just a practice run just to get me going for the week. So I'm just going to watch that and see what it's going to do. And again, it's just a minimal little tiny trade, and that's it. So I don't know what it's going to do at this point, coming off a long weekend and all. So we'll just watch it and see what it does. So I don't know if anybody has any questions on it or any comments or anything that you do differently. Please share with the group. I'd love to hear it.
Thank you, Eva. And you can still hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let me see if I can share my screen. I appreciate you doing that. And you may have to be sharing your screen more than you may want to today, but let's just see let me give it a try here.
You need me to stop then?
Hang on, I got to change this to,
multiple.
I don't know why my audio wasn't working, but and maybe it wasn't, I couldn't hear anybody. So we have that set. So I'll share my screen. You can stop sharing and I'll see if I can.
All right.
There we go. Now let me see if I can get mine. So this should be, let's see, I believe that one was yours. Share this one. Okay, now you should be seeing my screen, I think.
Yeah.
And I should come down here and okay. So you see all my charts and everything. Oh, okay, good. Well, at least we'll kind of keep with that. We may have a problem going back and forth from some other screens today, but
that's okay. We'll muddle through.
yeah. Did you get your the dashboard loaded up this weekend by chance?
I did not. This weekend kind of got away from me. So
Yeah, this weekend was kind of. I tried getting mine set up, but I didn't get the. Basically, you have to get the VPS reset, and I never got that reset over the weekend, so I'm gonna have to go this week without the dashboard as well.
Yeah.
But that's just the way it goes. So let me see if I can get my other charts up here, if I can find where they are. Let's see. I apologize for the slow start this morning, everybody. I said I'm on my laptop, and that's always, it seems to be more of a challenge than I care to think about, but we muddle our way through it eventually. And try and see this, if this would be, oops, Zoom sharing. I'm looking for we have, try and get through the disclaimers or some of the news. I guess that's what I'm going to try and do, trying to bring in the news here. Time, trading view. From my Forex Factory here. Should see the Forex Factory now for Monday, April 5th. And it looks like there's no news announcements this morning. And see if there's anything, what we have for the week. April 6th. Looks like we have a red folder on the Aussie tomorrow. That's at 12:30 in the morning. That's after midnight, I believe, this for us. I'm on East Coast time. Nothing real earth-shattering looks like on this one. Wednesday, FOMC meeting on Wednesday at 2 o'clock. There looks like there'll be some news on that at 2 o'clock for the dollar. So right now it looks like we're pretty good up through Wednesday, 2 o'clock for the most part. I should take care of that. We have our splash screen, trying to see what our what the strong currencies for the day are right now. And we are getting very close to making this available for everybody. So anybody who has TradingView, send an email to trademasters@gmail.com. That's trade with TRAIDE masters.com or at Gmail, and let us know that you have TradingView and you want to sign up for the access for this RCS tool. We'll be working on that this weekend. Right now, it looks like I've got 4 different time frames here. I got the upper left one is the 1 hour chart. The lower one, the gray background area, that's a 30-minute. Over here is a 15-minute, and then up here is a 5-minute. What I try and do is see which currency is the strongest and weakest on all 4 time frames. And right now, on the higher time frames, the New Zealand dollar is stronger, and the dollar is weaker. The dollar is weaker on 3 of the 4 time frames. So we'd be wanting to trade any trades that come up. We'd be wanting to trade to the dollar weakness. Or the New Zealand strength or the Japanese strength. Aussie's not too bad here. I usually like the top 3 on the 30-minute. That's a good area these would be the top 3 stronger ones. These are the weaker ones, bottom 3. The ones in the middle I try and stay away from. So anything from the top 3 to the bottom 3 are usually okay to trade. The more the spread, the better off we are for the direction. So right now we're looking at dollar weakness and CAD and New Zealand strength for the most part. And so that's the splash screen. I'll go back over to sharing my chart. Where'd it go? Here we go.
Al, when you get on the chart, can you just show, there was a question in the chat, can you show how to bring up the one-click trade box on the top right-hand corner?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we can do that. Let me stop sharing this one and share screen. See if I can find my charts again. Let's see. Where'd they go? Oh, here we go. Now you should see my charts again. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so to bring up the one-click screen, I'm just going to bring up this British CAD trade. There's a little arrow right here in the upper left-hand corner of your chart. If you click on that arrow, it goes away. If you click on it, it comes back up again. But just make sure that you have your chart set with the tools for one-click trading, and that would be for under the tools options, I believe it is, and you come over here to trading. You want to make sure that this box is checked to one-click trading. But just keep in mind that every time you click any of these buy or sell, it's automatically going to put you into that position. So keep that in mind. But that's where the chart is. It's this little drop-down arrow in the very upper left-hand corner of your chart. And that's where that is.
Thank you.
Let's go see if there's anything. We'll just scroll through here while we're waiting for the alerts to come up. Nothing there particularly. See, we were looking at the dollar weakness and New Zealand strength. So let's now scroll over here to the New Zealand. All right, my New Zealand charts. CAD was strong, dollar was weak, so it looks like we're starting to have a little bit of strength. Remember, if you have a currency pair and the first currency is your anchor and the other one would be so the second currency, if the CAD is the second currency of the pair, so if the CAD is stronger than the dollar, it's going to be the strength, the CAD strength is going to be to the downside. So you'd be looking for a short if the CAD is strong. If the dollar is weak, again, the CAD is strong. Basically, just they're going to be opposite each other. So if the dollar is strong, you're going to be looking for an up move. If the CAD is strong, you're going to be looking for the down move. A nice little bounces arrow. This one has some potential, but it's looks like we may already be too late to the party here. But there was let's see, check and see what our direction is. So we come over here to scroll out. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 zones on the top, 1, 2, 3. So it is strong to the downside. And the Canadian dollar has been strong for the last several weeks. And so that's going to be pretty much in line with what the trend has been. So we're going to scroll back out again. And we're going to be looking for, when you get the down arrow, this would be a bounce arrow. When you get the bounce arrow and a go, you would be looking at the open of the next, where the arrow is generated. That arrow is generated when that candle closes. So it'd be the open of the following candle, and you're looking for a 20 pip move to the next zone. And in this case, we would have from where the arrow is to the zone, you have 30 pips. So that would be a good trade. It'd be a valid trade. We have the second arrow in a row, which a lot of times what we'll do is we'll go to a lower time frame and see how we have 20 pips to where this is right now. You have 19 pips. So I would say this would still be a valid trade to the downside. The Canadian dollar is stronger to the US. The US dollar is weaker. I think this could be a valid trade. I wouldn't want to be going for the full 20 pips on this one. I'd be looking for a little bit less. If you had it off the first arrow, you'd be okay. Let's go to the 5-minute chart and see if there's any zones in the way. And it looks like there may be a little bit of a zone in the way. This area right here is kind of in the way of the target. So you may want to hold off on that trade. Just unless we can get you can maybe go for maybe 5 pips possibly. I'm not sure you can get that out of there. Let's see that to the bottom of this zone, you have it goes from 25.51 to 25.44. That's basically you have 7 pips And that's if you got in at the blue line. I would wait for a little bit stronger pullback before I take it. You're probably going to have a little bit of, even though this may be a 5-minute zone, it's amazing how often these little 5-minute zones hold, and it kind of spoils your day a little bit. So whenever you get those double arrows like that, just go to the next lower time frame and see if there's any sneaky little zone in the way. I saw on the 15-minute chart, we had a nice little shot at it, but I don't like the fact that it's that little zone in the middle there, so I'm going to pass on that. You have this little wick right over here. If you look and see where the problem is, you can see it's right where this area is. We had a strong move down, came back up, and rejected it. So right in this area, there's a potential of the buyers coming back in, and that's only about 6 pips away. So by the time you get your spread out of there, there's not much room for anything else. So I'll pass on that one. And let's see. That's the US CAD. And let's see what the US dollar pairs might be. Let's go. The New Zealand was strong, so let's take a look at the yen. I think it was a little weak. This could be a, let's see, we have a bounce arrow go right up to the zone, but there really wasn't enough room for this one. Again, you have a red zone right up in front. You had a nice little bounce, we had a nice arrow, but it came right up into this zone where there's going to be a little bit of a problem. And that's not a trade. And right now we're just sort of looking, scouring the charts to see if there's anything that may be looking like a potential setup. The US we said was, let's see, where's it? We're gonna have 2 of these. I need 2 US CAD. We don't need 2 of them. Take that one off. And let's see, we had British Canadian. We have that. Let's go and we'll retile this. Make sure we get everything back to where it's supposed to be. Check your charts to make sure that you have everything on the time frame that you want to be trading on. I say I have a couple here that need to go back on I look to start off with the 15-minute, because if you get an alert, you're not going to get the alert on the time frame which your chart is set up. And those of you who have the dashboard, have the dashboard loaded up, that should take care of that problem for you. And let's see, what else do we have here? We were looking at some of the NASDAQ. Here's the New Zealand USD. Let's see what that one looks like. That one was strong. Remember that we said that the New Zealand dollar was the strongest on pretty much all the time frames. Dollar was the weakest, so we'd be looking. This zone may get blown through here. Let's see what it looks like on a 5-minute. Let's see where the strength is. We have the strength. We have 3 green zones on the bottom, 1 on the top. This is where the strength to the upside. I'm going to go and bring an arrow over here. Arrow up on put it right here by this little zone, right? The last zone. That way, if this zone goes away or forms another one, I'll know where the last green zone was. And let's see, so nothing there yet. It's in the zone. And we're still waiting for some alerts this morning.
We had a request that we have a look at gold.
Gold, okay. Everybody likes to know what gold's going to do. I wish my crystal ball was a little bit clearer with gold. Gold is going to be one of those that's going to be an odd one to try and trade, because with all the dollar printing that's going on right now, gold generally was the flight to safety, but we're also seeing now that the cryptos have kind of matched or succeeded the interest in gold, just because it's a little bit more it's easier to trade and exchange. Gold is, we're looking at a 15-minute chart. Let's see what kind of a trend it's on. May have to go to my trading view and see where that we are in it is showing in an uptrend on the 15-minute chart.
That looks.
I mean, it did come. It took us a pretty good. It did reverse. It seems like it found a bottom right around the 1675. I'm going to guess you're going to be looking between 1675 and probably 1775 ish. Will probably be where it's going to settle in. But right now, it's been going sideways for the last couple of days anyway. Seems like it's settled in around 1725 area. So I'd say between 1725 and 1700 is probably where you're going to be seeing gold playing around for the next few days. It's going to have to get through this zone. If it can get through this zone around the 1700, it could head on up to a higher. If it get through this area, then you can see where the next zone is going to be right around 1813. But it's going to have to get through. It's going to have to get through this area. 16. Let's see, 17. Let's say right now it's basically playing between 1767, 1677. So that's roughly your $100 range, and it's right in the middle of it. So right now it's poised to go up a little bit more, but I wouldn't be. It's right in the middle. So I would say if it gets up into this upper part of around the, I say if it gets up to around the 1750 area, you may be looking to have a potential sell. If it gets down to, I'd probably be more of a seller up around 1750 if I'm still going to be playing at 1750 short and looking at probably about 1675, 1680 to go long. It looks like it's sort of found its happy place right now, pretty much right in the middle of this zone, right around the 1725 area. And that's pretty much it for gold. And let's see.
We just had an alert.
We did? Okay.
Yeah, we had a Bitcoin.
Bitcoin? All right, let's take a look at that.
Bitcoin and gold, as it turns out.
Bitcoin and gold. Well, here's a bounce, arrow, go. Bitcoin's kind of back on. It's kind of getting on a rebound. Now, we are coming right up into a 200 moving average on this one.
The alert was on a 5-minute, though, just so you know.
Oh, it wasn't a 5-minute? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take a look at a 5-minute. There it is. I see it. And there was a little zone that just went away. So bounce, arrow, go. I say this one could be a possible trade. I'm not sure what the numbers are for this one for targets and stops, but I would see it's 57.8, so 58. So right now there's about 558. It's about $500. It's about $500 move on the Bitcoin, which this thing moves in $100, pretty much $100 increments. So I'm not sure what the values of this will be. I think this is a valid trade to the upside. And so let's find out what these values are. I'm going to go ahead and take a 0.1, and we're going to see how much this thing moves dollar-wise for a 0.1. I believe it's for about every $100 move is going to probably move about. I'm going to say this is. I'm just going to do. Well, let's find out. I'm going to buy this thing right here, and I have a 0.1 contract size on this. Our target is going to be up here with. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's get this. Okay, so we got into this at with a 0.1, and it is our price that we entered was at 57,919. So 57,919. So I'm gonna put a $100 target on this at 58,019.25, and we'll see how much it makes in that time. Yes, I haven't figured out the numbers on this one yet. 58,019.25. So this is basically this is going to be $100 away from our entry. We got in at 57,919.25, 58,019.25. That's basically a $100 move. And that's where, so that's a $100 move right there. And we're going to put a target, modify this, at a target of 58,019.25. So when this thing gets filled, we'll figure out exactly what the values are. So for $100 move with a 0.1 contract size, we'll get a feel for what the value is. And right now it is I think it's going to be probably pretty much of looks like it's going to be about a $1 move for every $10. We'll see. I need to find out what these values are with these cryptos. Then they're going to be changing because cryptos, especially with Bitcoin being a $60,000 for a one position on it, $60,000 for every dollar of Bitcoin. Here we are. We're at. Looks like it's going to be pretty much of a. We have the dollar here for the commissions.
I think it's a dollar for every $10 move.
That's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah. On a 0.10.
Right. So Bitcoin, if you take a 0.10, like basically 0.1 lot size, every $10 it moves in price, it moves $1. That's what it's looking like it is. And we have a $1 commission on the side, so.
Yeah, I think Ether moves the same way. Ethereum moves the same.
Yeah, and that may be what all these cryptos are going to be, because a lot of them are all in big dollar moves, dollar prices. But we'll check and see what it. Right now, I've got a $100 entry to a $100 target, and we'll see what the value is at the end of the move if it hits our target here. Bitcoin is back on the rise again. All the cryptos are back on the rise.
That's good news for me.
Usually what they do is they get these announcements to sort of lambast the cryptos. They pull back about $10,000, like Bitcoin will pull back $10,000, and then all that does is it gives everybody a nice buying opportunity. Where it's all going to end, I have no idea. I know some people say it's the run's over. Some people say it's going to hit 300,000. So somewhere in between, someone's going to be right. And let's see.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Matt.
How are you fine people doing this day? You guys looking at the Bitcoin?
Yeah. Well, I'm on my laptop today, so that we had a little bit of a glitch this early morning. I couldn't get my mic working, so I had to reboot. But we seem to be back into business again.
Traveling, are we?
Yeah. Well, just came to see my daughter for the weekend for the Easter, and we're gonna head back after the session. We'll be back on the road for the next hour and a half to head back home, and so I'll be around then. But right now we're trying to figure out what the value of a Bitcoin is with a
per pip on 0.01.
Well, basically look with a 0.1 lot size. We're estimating that 0.1 lots, basically for every $100, every $10 move, it moves $1 with a 0.1. So that's about what we're thinking this is going to be.
Yeah, that's actually about right on point.
Yeah.
Yeah. The margin requirement's pretty low though, but the moves are aggressive.
Yeah.
So you you can lose your shirt pretty quick.
Yeah, and this thing moved in $100 pips, pretty much $100 ticks.
Yeah.
So, but it's a kind of fun little thing to play. It's not overly expensive, and
No.
you go for a $500 move, which now you maybe you'll get $50 out of the deal.
Right.
So
Also got to keep in mind spread, right? Spread's about 30, anywhere from 30 to 50 pips. So
is that what it is? I didn't even look at the spread.
approximately. Oh, look at you, Al. You have all your lot sizes done properly on all your currency pairs.
Well, I readjusted it this week for looking for a little bit more aggressive. I set it up for a 7 to 10 pip move as opposed to the 20 pip move, and using a 15 pip stop. So basically, I have these all valued for a 15 pip stop and a 7 pip target is what I have them set for. So I increased my lot size. But I'm just going for less. So that way I can make as much money with a 10 pip move as I can with a 20 pip move with double the lot size.
Yes, sir. And the same risk in the trade.
And the same risk in the trade.
You're not over risking. So you're just bringing your stop a little bit tighter and locking in some profit. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I know the main basis of Arrow was a 40 pip stop, 20 pip target. We're able to, as through some of our technical analysis that we use, we can usually tighten that stop up considerably, which means we can take a larger lot size for the same risk level. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You guys have any trouble getting into your VPS this morning?
No.
No, but I still have the old VPS because I haven't upgraded I didn't get my VPS
Oh, you still had some live trades running, right?
Well, not so much that. I was going to do it over the weekend, which I would have been fine, but I have a little different situation with the back office support because so long story short is we didn't get my VPS updated. Hopefully that'll happen today, and maybe if things slow down, I can get it loaded up real quickly.
Yeah.
But that brings up a question for me, Matt. When you do get the VPS, is there actually a blank chart that the dashboard loads onto, or does it load onto because I saw something about a blank chart to load the expert advisor on. It shows
it's called the blackout template. So what it does is it basically erases anything from your visual perspective on the chart that you bring up. So say, sorry.
I'm just saying we had an alert. I don't know if we want to.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the alert and then we'll continue with the setup.
Yeah, because that's a good idea. Thanks, Eva.
No worries.
Oh, bounce arrow go. Here we go. This could be a nice little setup.
How tight? How tight?
Well, that's the question. There we go. Here's the entry. There's that little zone that little pesky zone right there is going to be a problem.
And
you only have 10 pips. So the dollar is, we did determine earlier that the dollar was the weaker currency. This would be showing dollar weakness, euro strength. So it is in the right direction from what we were showing for our strength.
What's the zoom out look like?
We only have 10 pips on this one. It isn't a downtrend.
Yeah.
So we're in a downtrend, so the arrows go in the wrong direction. So this is a no trade, especially with the fact you only have 10 pips. Now this could possibly give us a reversal, but even with that, I think you're going to run problems into the, if we get it reversed this way to this being if we got let's say we had this could possibly be a bank induction type thing where it's coming up, if we can get a strong arrow right up into this zone and then get a down, either down arrow or a down candle, we could possibly have a bank induction coming up. And then this would be we would need to have, if this would be the target, 20 pips up we we would have to, pretty much right where my blue line is right now, we'd have to be able to get an entry to go short about where that blue line is, and then my stop would have to be up pretty much. And you could tighten the stop up,
yeah.
given this is a little bit of a barrier. If you can get a bounce and get an entry to go short in here, this would be my stop. And then that would be, now this is where you could capitalize a little bit. If there's a 17 pips, so you can use a 20 pip, 15, 20 pip stop. You have this barrier here as a little bit of a buffer to your stop out. So we can get a strong move up, come into this zone, and get a rejection of this zone and get in before this blue line. We have a 20 pip target to the downside. And this is it is in a downtrend, so we would want to have a down arrow off of this zone. I mean, this is the direction of this is the overall direction. But I do like the fact that the euro is, if we go back to our heat map, and now you see the RCS tool, and we're still seeing the dollar is still the weakest currency of in all 4 time frames, and the euro right now is the strongest on the 5, 15, and the 5, and it's starting to climb a little bit. You can see the arrows starting to climb, or the red line is pointing straight up. So the euro is getting stronger here. Hasn't quite determined yet on the 1 hour, but basically we're showing strength of the euro on the 30, the 5, and the 15. And so with that in mind, we can go to that's why I would say this was probably okay for a trade to the upside, but I don't like the fact that it's so close to the target. But actually I like it better as a long, which is where the arrow gave us to this target up here. It looks like we made our target on our Bitcoin. Let's see what we actually got out of that. So with a Bitcoin, yeah, basically it was 0.1. We had 0.1 lot size. We hit our target and we got $10 out of the trade. So for Bitcoin, for every tenth of a lot size, for every $10 it moves $1. So we can file that in our things to remember. Actually, I do like this to the upside because of the strength of the euro, but you can't go for a big move on that. And what time is it now? The time is, what time do we have? We have, it's almost 8:30, so the market's going to be open another hour. So the dollar is going to start showing some movement probably between now and 9:30 when the U.S. markets open up again. And looking at this euro US, you can see this, it came right up to this area right in here. It would see this little wick right here. There was a fairly strong rejection. Now this is off of a 15-minute chart. This 50-minute candle, which is going to close in another, well, actually, no, it just opened up. So, but it opened up, went straight on up, came right back down. So it found some buyers or some sellers right in this area right here. You can see where this, right before this red down, or this down arrow here, this little red zone, you can see it came right on up and it found so there's some sellers right in this little area. Move this down here a little bit closer. And this is what you have to be careful of when you see these strong moves like this. I mean, it could still go on up. This could just be a little bit of a pullback, but you have to be aware of these little areas like this, especially any place where you see the color of the candles change colors from green to red. You can figure that there's probably some area up in here where the sellers are coming in to take over control. This is where they took control, came back up. Buyers took control down here, came back up. Sellers are saying, okay, I'm ready to sell some more, and then drive it back down and keep going back and forth. So that's the Euro USD. I'm just going to, Monday mornings, I'm not in a big hurry to take trades on a Monday morning. I like to let the market stabilize and find their positions, the direction for the week. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are usually much better days to be trading. But
Yeah,
let
it would
Monday.
have to be. It would have to be a pretty excellent setup for me to take a trade on a Monday. Now, a couple months back, it was a different story, right? But right now,
Yeah.
it's kind of it's a
The
different
markets
world.
are very dynamic. They change, and the thing is for us to be aware that they change and try and catch those transition periods when they happen. And then you're not going to catch it right away, but you just try and you just have a system. You have a plan, trade your plan, and plan your trades and trade your plan. So while we're waiting for another alert, Matt, tell us a little bit more about this blank screen, blank chart, or is that an actual chart on the VPS or is it in the arrow setup?
It's actually just a template. So it's a template that you can load, and it's called Blackout. So all you do is
where's the template? Where do you find the template?
you find it on your VPS itself. So when you right click on any chart and then you go to load a template, just like we loaded our own custom templates, right? With the 200 moving average, you would just, instead of using your own template, load up the one that says Blackout.
So you would find a template here on your VPS where you have like there would be a template that's called Blackout on here. Is that what you're saying?
No, you won't be able to find it on your desktop of your VPS. It's actually located and inserted within your MetaTrader 4 of your VPS. So inside the files itself.
Inside the MetaTrader files.
Yeah.
Like where you find the symbols list. Would it be in the symbols list?
Well, no. Let me see if I can.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can load up my system properly here. I've been having some problems. Let me see, remote desktop. Only trying to do a couple things at the same time here.
Okay, let me see if I can get my charts back again here.
Let me see. I'll show you guys what I mean.
Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Some advice in the chat. Justin
Here we
mentioned that
go.
the template button's on the menu bar to the far right.
That's true. That is true. I don't usually go get it there, but yeah, you can do that. So let's go check it out. My arrow is up and running. I will share my screen if that's okay with you.
Okay, I'll stop sharing. You can share yours.
It's going to take a while to get used to, right? There's a lot of changes and stuff. So
I wasn't real clear from the instructions. Not having the VPS, I wasn't real clear what they were saying for this.
It's going to make a difference here. So let's pretend that I want to bring Swiss yen up. And then I right click and I go into templates. And then I go here and I find Blackout.
So that's where you find it.
And it gets rid of everything, which you can make your own Blackout template. If you go into properties, you can get rid of all the grid lines and all the other junk that's there, right? You can hide the candles. It's just a template. It's just so that you can visually not have to see the chart. Just so you can see this.
I saw they were saying that there was a setup video or something like that. Where do we find the setup video?
That's in the Arrow announcements and also in the Arrow bag chat.
But did they actually have a video in the Arrow announcement?
Yeah.
Because I looked for it yesterday. I saw that he was mentioning about the video, but I didn't know where to go to find the video.
Oh, okay. Maybe I can send you the link later to the specific one.
I'm thinking for everybody else too, because in the Arrow back chats, you'll find sometimes you'll have
100,000 messages.
Well, I've seen 1,200 chats, and for someone to have to scroll through 1,200 chats to find a video that he's talking about, it's not the best way to handle that situation.
No, for sure. That's why it's in the announcements, in the Arrow announcements. But I'll
because I looked there too and I couldn't find the video. That's why I'm asking the question. And I know other people are going to be having the same question.
Oh, for sure.
So you're saying that the video to load the explanation video is in the Arrow announcements Telegram.
Yes. If you scroll
do you know what date it is?
I could find that out.
What
it's
date
only
you find
10.
that?
Al, it's only 10 back. on the
10
announcements.
10 days
10
back?
chats back. No, 10 chats back.
10 chats back. Okay.
Yes, on the announcements.
Way that we can ask Nate to have it put into the Auvoria Prime back office. That's
Yeah, you would think.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought it was.
it's not in the setups. It's not in this when you or get onto the when you buy the product.
Yeah.
Or when you subscribe to the product, it's not in the setups, and that's really where it would be great to have that, have a tab in there for the setup for the new system as when people get set up in this thing.
Okay, that makes sense then.
And maybe I'll pass it on to Nate when you talk to him again.
Yeah.
And Bren posted in the chat also a YouTube that mentions it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Thank you so much for that information.
And Juan says it's on March 28th, Al.
Okay, March 20. Okay, on the
I
announcement,
love our
March 28th.
community. They're so great.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. You're helping me out because I said, and I said, know that if I'm having problems, other people are having problems as well. And so I like to find out where the problems are so we can get those addressed
Let's see if I can reopen this thing.
forthwith.
Get her working. Yeah, my alerts weren't showing up, so.
Find a. Let me see, where do I put into a notebook here?
Hold on here. I got to figure out what arrow I have it loaded on. No, not that one. So I've been messing around with indices and gold, things that move a lot faster, because since I started work, I have to try to not sit in trades forever, you know? Let's see, this should have worked here. We got the little pop-ups. I'm just going to go check, see if I got any. Have you guys had any, you guys have had trade alerts, yeah?
We've had some this morning, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Now we have nobody in, even nor I have been using the dashboard because we don't have them loaded up yet. But
okay, no worries.
So I tried getting it loaded this weekend, but I think with the holidays and everything else, it didn't. It wasn't timely enough in getting my request in.
Ooh, we're gonna get a nice breakout of NAS. You see this price channel that we're in right now? That's interesting. Let me go have some fun for a couple minutes here. I just need to log into my other system real quick.
You've got it. In the meantime, there's a note for you in the Q&A, Al, from Bren.
Okay.
I can't do the Australian accent, but I can read this for you. No worries, Al. Thank you for everything, Nate. Honestly, you learned me a lot, man. Hope you had a good Easter.
Oh, I did. We had a very nice Easter.
Yeah, I like Bren. Met him a couple times at a couple releases. Let me see.
Let's see what other lists we have here.
We've got a new alert
YouTube.
as well.
Oh, look at that. What was I talking about?
What's
And
the
we're
alert
right
there,
into
Eve?
the zone.
What's our alert there, Eva?
The pound CAD.
Pound CAD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Go and share while you got your screen up there.
Yeah, it's just because I don't have. That's okay. We'll go to pound CAD. Let's go GBP CAD. We'll toss it in here. We'll just drag. See, that's what I like is that they have the version 1 here. So what do we got? That's on the 1 hour. This is the 15. There's the alert.
People in our room.
We're
Did you
counter
not have
trend.
Did you not have it loaded on your dashboard?
No,
Okay.
no, because I was testing some things with less.
Okay.
I wanted
So
to see if I was missing alerts.
So that's why it didn't pop up. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you can see the ones that I'm scanning right now are US 30, German 30, NAS, SP, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin, gold. Silver, I got to get rid of because you don't want to trade silver. The spread is too dangerous. Just a heads up.
Okay,
The
Juan
$5
wrote,
spread.
excuse me, Juan wrote in the chat a long explanation that's very helpful if anybody would like to look at it. Members as well as instructor.
Yeah, so you got six on the upside. You got 2 on the downside. You got an arrow going down. So we're going to look for an arrow going up, right? This is actually a pretty clean bounce, but it's going against us. We don't want that. We want to bounce here, or there's maybe a green zone that appears here. If there is, and we get an arrow, then there might be enough room here to take that trade. So if we have, for example, 20 pips, then I would go for 10 if we had an arrow going in the direction of momentum for right now. But I don't want to take a counter trend trade.
Okay.
So let's go see what else we can muster together here today. This is interesting. Let me go see if I can find my my other charts here. New window. Yeah, they got Ontario locked down again.
Yeah.
Insane.
Soon.
Let's go check this out. So this is NAS. What do we got? Got a fractal. It's not confirmed yet. It's probably going to disappear. I was working on combining Arrow with my own little strategy here, and it's been good. You just need a couple confirmations, and if I keep on having the level of success that I have been having with it, then it's good. Because here's where you would potentially take an entry on the bounce of the Bollinger Band, and when the RSI and stochastic and this indicator down here, it all indicates that it's going to potentially reverse. So if you just look for like a $5 move, you get a little bit of heat here, and then you're good to go. But you only go on to this once you get an alert on Arrow, and it has to be a currency pair or an indices that moves really fast. It can't be like a Forex pair. I found it just moves too slow for this specific setup, and that's why I use the Arrow to bring me the zones so I can have an idea of what direction price could go. So that'll be a fun little thing later on.
Once we get it worked out, once we're comfortable with it, we'll start sharing more of the details with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now it's been good. I'm actually just trying to get my computer up and running properly for work.
One thing, if you haven't already figured out, that trading is always a continual work in progress.
Agreed.
Where you're always learning, you're always finding ways to, as the market changes, you have to find ways to adapt to the market. And as different markets, even though there's a lot of similarities to markets, there's a lot of differences as well. And try and find out which techniques work with which markets, which ones work better. Even like the bag entries and the arrow entries were originally designed to be working with the British pairs at the London Open, and then it evolved into other Forex pairs with different times of the day and different time frames. So, but the original concept of bags was the London market. And in fact, that if you may wonder why Nate spends his time at 2:00 in the morning trading during the London session, that's why, because that's what he developed the system. Initially, he developed it for that time frame. But as it's been developed and as it's been been more widely used worldwide through the Auvoria Prime
Oof.
marketplace. People are finding other ways of using it, but it's also having to make some adaptations to the method of entries and exits and targets and things like that, based on some of these different, like he never did indices, he never did gold, he never did cryptos with before. So as we get into these communities, people in the communities are finding out, hey, this has been working with this, or they say, well, what does it work with that? And through our community, which you are one of, which everybody here is one of the members of that community, we have some people that are find some really interesting things on how to trade other aspects and
All right, that is
indices with the
way
same
gone out of
alerts.
there. Holy sugar. That thing is gone. NAS 100. Sorry, Al.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
I couldn't get in that one, but wow. That is out of here. Check it on a 1. That is such a clean bag entry. Hindsight's 2020. I didn't like that big zone. I should have went back. I went back to the 30-minute and I saw the zone there. And it was at the top of the run. This is a higher high. That might actually be like something like an all-time high or something.
I think the NASDAQ, I know the S&P is making new all-time highs. And it will probably continue to do so as long as they keep on pumping money into the markets.
Yeah, so your next resistance is your next zone is at 1309, 13901, and we are at, what are we at here? Oh yeah, this blew up. There we go.
Yeah, one thing we keep wondering, why do the markets keep going up and up and up and up? And I think there's an argument to be made is the reason why the markets are keep going up is as the government keeps printing more money and they
So
keep
much
the
printed
interest.
money.
Well, not only the printed money, but there's also the other aspect is that for people who have money that they're trying to grow their accounts, you can't grow it with a 2% interest rate. When money markets were showing or 4-year CDs were paying 4, 6, 8, 10%. It was a place for people to put their money, but with only a 2% return in a year on your money, there's no other place. The only places to be able to put it is to volatile stocks or to volatile currencies or cryptos or things like that. And that's what's driving a lot of this is because there's no other place for people to grow their nest eggs so they can retire at some point in time or to pay for colleges or whatever else they're looking to save their money for to buy a house. There's no other way of doing it other than to put it into the markets, be it a stock market or a crypto or gold or whatever is out there or Forex. And so that's where a lot of the it's just basically a supply and demand of this. People just don't want to be.
Is that a $30 move that it
Yeah.
just went in the last little bit? So say, oh yeah, that's too much. That's $40. It's a $40 move.
So $40 on what lot size?
Oh, price wise.
Price wise.
Yeah, $40 move on price wise, which would be.
Is that $1 per tenth? A $1 move for every tenth lot
Pretty
size?
much.
Excuse me, Al, do you have the NAS on your charts? Al?
Say that again, Christine.
I'm sorry, do you have the NAS on your charts?
The NASDAQ, I do.
Could we flip to yours? It's just,
Let me
sorry, Matt,
switch.
it's just a little less busy for some people.
Let me have you stop sharing here and let me go and share my screen here, Matt.
Yeah, for sure. I need to get my my work computer up and running too. So.
Okay, here's mine. Oh, we look at the NASDAQ NAS. So now it's like 100 here. Is that better, Christine?
Yeah.
Yes, I just think for everybody. Yes.
You're kind of breaking up there, Christine. We're having a hard time. I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, I think because Eva and I were talking at the same time. It's just less busy for most people. That's all. And then Juan was saying there was no alert on that. So
Let's go back to my alert screen here. Next, we have a British cat alert. Let me just take a look at that one while we're. Joey, no need to talk about the Nasdaq. It's already out of the chute already.
Oh yeah, that one's gone. You might have to wait for another pattern to show up and then maybe take it to continue, but that one's out of the chute.
This one's in a downtrend. We are on the 15-minute chart. We're in a downtrend. We got the alert. Put this one up here. I'll make this color. Get my colors here. And the target is going to be. Let's see what kind of room we have. Here's the target. Here's the entry. 14 pips. And it's already, you can see it already came down. Already tagged. We have a moving average right down here. 200 moving average. It's already tagged moving average. It's already been rejected from that. So you would have had to get in right at the alert and taken it right, and you've only still gotten 15 pips. That was pretty quick. And let's see what else we have here. We did the Euro US. Let's see where the Euro US is while we're looking. Euro US, this is where we had the alert with the Euro US. Remember I said at the time that the Euro was stronger to the US. There was that little pesky little zone right here, but you can see where it just broke right through that. There again, you had to weigh the odds of whether or not you wanted to take it with that little zone. I've seen these little 1 minute zones hold, and I've also seen this get broken through. So this was a case where we had the nice bounce arrow, but we had that zone. We had to wait till it gets to the zone. The zone was pretty much right at the top where the 1763. So that would have been one of those cases you could put a buy stop in the for a pending order. If it came up and broke through that zone, then you would have been able to catch that. But it also oftentimes it wicks up through and comes right back down again. So now that would have been a nice trade. It was a contra trend trade. We are in a downtrend. It was a contra trend trade, which in this hindsight 2020, it worked out. But that was the reason we didn't take that, because there was that red zone right there, and then we didn't quite catch the breakthrough of it. There's a Litecoin that's pending right now. Let's see where that one's at. Cryptos are on the move on the upside today. We have a little zone right up here. Let's see what we have for. Yeah, we have other zones up above. If it can break through this area, this would be the target. I would say if we could have, there's 55, there's 61 pips, looks like, to the, if it breaks through, this one of these things we could do is dollar weakness today. Let me just double check. I think dollar is still weak. If we could put a pending order in on this one. So let's do that. Let's just so you can see how we do that with the pending order. It's got to get through these little wicks, but if we can get a break of this zone at 208.30, so you do a pending order, come into the template, go to trade, and we're going to go a new order. And we're going to do we're not going to do a market execution. We're going to do a pending order. And we're going to do a buy stop. That way it's going to be basically when it gets up to the 208.30, I'm going to make it 208.5 Buy stop at 208.35. 208.35. And we're going to, and our stop is going to be, I'll move our stop down below the moving averages. I'll put at 196.65 just for a reference. So the stop is going to be 196. So go at 197. And our take profit is going to be at 214. And we're going to place the order. And so if it comes up, breaks through this little barrier, we're on the upside. And if it breaks through that, we can actually move our stop up just below. I'll just do it right below the money zone, for today's money zone, which is this area right here. And so that way it's going to, as if it breaks through this, it's going to be a break. This is a breakout trade, which I always get a little bit leery about breakout trades because oftentimes they break out only for a head fake to come back around. But we'll take a shot at this one here. Again, this is on a, while I'm doing these, learning how to trade these cryptos and some of these other indices, I'm not doing it with a live account. So just so you know that, as I try to figure out what the dollar values are, I may take it on my live account, but I'm not doing that today. So that's what we're looking at here. We are in an up, we did get a nice little bounce, arrow, go, hitting into the zone. We have a double arrow come into our lower time frame. And like I said, if it can break through this, here's, you see how there's a little double zone here. We have this little wick right here came up, and we also have another little zone right in, it's like a level on the level. I think I can probably pull that back a little bit. If it breaks, if we get a close above this wick, we should be okay to take this thing, take this trade. This is on a 5-minute chart. And make sure we're in the right direction. Right now we're pretty much 3 red and 3 green. Let's go to 15-minute chart just to double. This is in a stronger, on the 15-minute, you can see how the difference was between the 5-minute and 15-minute chart. We're in lots of green on the bottom, a little bit of red on the top. Had a nice little pullback, based, and now looking to see it's going to come up and retest this area up here. Would be my estimation. So, and I like putting the range on a 15-minute. 5-minute is not really too conclusive as far as direction goes. From a longer term, the higher the time frame, the stronger the validity of the direction that you're looking at. Put an upper arrow in right there. 15-minute. Like I said, if we get a breakthrough of this, then once this thing, if we get into this trade and we get the crossover, I'll be okay with actually moving my stop up even a little bit closer, even below these moving averages. And I'd probably move it below the lowest moving average, like this, the arrow moving average. I could probably move it down just below this red candle. You can maybe move it up a little bit to once it gets triggered. Here's a nice strong extended range candle on that. Move right below that. I've got the moving averages, 2 moving averages as a buffer. I've got an arrow. If it can break through the top, I'm in this trade. And then we can just sort of start tracking these moving averages to the upside till we get to our target. You might have take a little bit of heat over in this area where these wicks are. So be careful about that. But once it breaks through, if it breaks through strong enough, it'll just go right on up to this level right up in here. But we're not in this trade yet. This is a buy stop. Basically means is that once it the stop would trigger the trade, and you're looking to trigger the buy to the upside. A sell stop would be just the same thing, only to the downside. You wait for your prices below. In this case, the price is below your entry, and so when it comes up, you're buying. It's going to trigger the stop. Basically, stop means trigger the trade, and it's going to get you into the trade. And let's see. What else we have? We have about maybe about 5 more minutes before we're done here. Any other quick questions before we go? Put your questions in the question answer box. Why is the arrow pip not moving? Why is the arrow pips not moving? The arrow pips.
Arrow
sure.
pips only shows up if you have a live trade open or a demo trade. Do you have a trade open there, Al?
Is he talking about the dashboard or what? I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Probably
No, on the left of your screen, I think.
You see arrow pips 0? It's because you don't have a trade open.
Arrow pips. Oh.
Below your trading.
Underneath your high.
You're talking about here?
No,
No.
Left-hand side, maybe.
right
Go
there.
up.
Oh,
Mid-chart.
this one over here. Oh, this one over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because we're not in any trades right now. That's why. As soon as this thing triggers into the trade, then we'll start getting this thing that should start moving. I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand what he was referring to. I'll be honest, I kind of keep forgetting to look at those. It's a nice little tool there. For some reason, I just haven't trained my eye to put that in my scan on a regular basis. It's really nice, and it is really nice that when you're in trades, you can see what trades you're in and how they're doing if you're not looking at the chart. I mean, it's a wonderful tool. I just haven't trained myself enough to do it.
The lines on your chart look like you're in a trade. See the red and
The
blue?
lines, these lines. It looks like, but that's just because that's where the trade is set. It just hasn't triggered yet.
Okay. So yes, Paresh is in a stop.
Yeah, it only shows where it just shows where the entry is going to be, and hasn't hit the entry yet. And that's just where the stop's going to be, and then up above is where the target is going to be. So basically, here's my target, here's my stop, here's my entry, and once it gets triggered, then you'll start seeing this moving down here. Right now, this is still pending. If I move this out of the way, you can see this is the trade's a buy stop, and you can see it's not in the, it's still a pending trade. It hasn't opened yet. And let's see other questions. Let's check the chat box here.
That was loud.
Yeah, Judson just his Bitcoin trade was a winner on his 200th live trade.
All right, good job.
He says he couldn't have done it without Team Hawkeye.
Well, so we don't win all of our trades, but we try to win most of them. Let's just say that. We do make mistakes. We do have errors. We do make trading errors, just like everybody else does. But trying to keep the errors to a minimum. And what's really nice about this group is that we all help each other out to see things that, and people have caught some things like, why did I do that? And I go, well, I didn't want to do that. I didn't realize I did it until it was, and so it saved a few. Everybody helps each other out, and we all work together to grow our accounts together. And let's see what else we have. You probably have a big black spot on my screen, don't you?
Yes, we do.
That's because I had the chat box open. Okay. Do you see my alert box on the lower left, or is that blacked out too?
No, we can see it. It's just most of it's hidden, however.
Most of it. Yeah. Okay, let me pull
Yeah,
it
you're down too low and we can't.
Is that better?
Well,
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And let's see if we can look at one more thing before we go. Give one more quick look at the. Let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing. Let's see. Can I just do this? I think I have to stop sharing and then look at the heat map. Share screen. Here we go. Share this one. Again, this is the see where we are with our strength before we leave. Give everybody a quick peek. Looks like the Swiss franc is strong on the 5, the 15, and the 30, and it's climbing on the. So the Swiss franc is getting stronger. Dollar is still buried weak here. So I would say again, you want to be trading to the weakness of the dollar if you have a dollar pair that pops up, and to the strength of the Swiss pair. So if you have a Swiss USD, let me go into change this to share screen. So if you were to look at that with a USD Swiss pair, and you're going to see that the dollar is weak. The dollar is the first currency of the pair. You said the dollar was weak. That means it should be going down. The Swiss is strong. That means it should be going down. So we're trading to the strength of the Swiss. Now we're looking at this. I see that I have this is in an uptrend. It's still in an uptrend, and with a down arrow. Now we had this arrow quite a few, about 45 minutes ago. Actually, more than that, a couple hours ago, actually. But we did, now what time was that? Let me see what time that was. This was at 7 o'clock this morning, so that was before we got started here. So we actually had that alert. 7 o'clock, this was a nice little, it would have been a contra trend trade, but it certainly would have worked out. And that's why a lot of times that heat map will help you take trades, even if it's contra trend. It'll help you give you some confidence that you're still in the right direction. And it's just a strong pullback as opposed to being a contra trend trade. So with that, that's about all I have for today. I've got to hit the road to get back home, and we'll be here tomorrow. I should be back on my desktop tomorrow, so we won't have the struggles. Hopefully I won't have the struggles that we've had today. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming into the room. Thanks, Eva, Matt, Christine, for your help, and everybody that participated and gave us some feedback. I appreciate that as well. And we will see everybody tomorrow. Have a safe and enjoy the day today. This looks here in the Carolinas, it's going to be a nice day today. It looks like, so enjoy, and see everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, perfect.
Great day. We'll see y'all tomorrow.